Hey guys, this is Bernie with Slip to Stitch Jane, and I want to get on here and show you this pattern. I know a couple people have been asking for it. It's the Artemis hooded scarf. It has a little bit of texture right here, but also gives a nice drape on the side. It gives me very like wood elf vibes. It's very snug. It's in a medium worsted weight yarn, so it's very warm and cozy, and it can be basically worn with any aesthetic. I feel, like I said, with a lot of other videos I said, a lot of stuff I do, I try to make it to where it's versatile, but for different aesthetics and different wardrobes, depending on the color and how you accessorize it. I'll show you the back. It's very simple and not very difficult texture and stitch-wise, but we'll jump right in. And the materials needed for the pattern are a 5.5mm hook or an eye. I'm using my Clover & More hook. I prefer using this one for bigger projects just because of how fast it allows me to work with a very consistent tension. It has a very brushed texture on it. Also, the shape of the hook is which one I prefer. Also, we'd be needing a size 4 medium for worsted weight yarn. I'm using Craft Smart, the Value Economy, in the color Periwinkle. I really prefer working with this yarn here lately. I like the texture, and the way it fits in my budget is very, very nice. So we're going to be using that. Also, you'll need a tapestry needle. You can use a smaller crochet hook to weave your ends in. That's what I used to begin with, but I prefer using a metal tapestry needle. Also, a pair of scissors. Okay, also, we've been needing stitch markers. I have these wooden ones here from Nerdpreneur. I love her stitch markers a lot, and I love the fact that they are World of Warcraft, but you can use a scrap piece of yarn, a paper clip, or anything. Okay, and we'll jump straight into the pattern. Okay, to start off with this pattern, you're going to make a slip knot, and the easy way to do that is to grab the very tail end of the yarn, wrap it around 2 fingers, and you're going to use this one to kind of help guide it around. You're going to give yourself a little bit of slack, work it around, and cross over that first yarn like that. So you're going to cross over the first wrap around. And then what I would do is grab the working tail yarn right here, but also kind of hold that X right there, flip it around, and what you should have in the front is 2 bars like this. You're going to take your hook, insert underneath that first loop, and grab onto the second loop, and then pull through, holding on to the 2 tail ends of the yarn, the working and the tail, like that, and pull tight. And then you're going to take and secure this down snug to the hook. Okay, and to start this pattern off, you're going to do 36 plus 3, so you're going to have 39 chains in total. To chain, you're going to yarn over, and then pull that through that first loop. So yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop. And you're going to do this until you have 39 chains in total. Back in just a second. Okay, and after you have 39 chains in total, I would definitely go back and double check and count just to make sure you have the right amount. What we're going to do is double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So what you're going to do is yarn over, and you're going to count back 4 chains from the hook. So not the one currently on it, but the one right before that. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So like I said, yarn over, insert your hook into that chain, yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and you're going to do that again. So yarn over into the next chain. You're going to yarn over, insert your chains or your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to do this until you have a total of 35 double crochets, and you have 1 chain left empty down here. So in total you'll have 35 plus the chain 3, which will count as a double crochet in the next row. I'll meet you back here in just a moment when we get to the very last chain. Okay, and we're at the very last stitch, or the last chain. For this last chain here, we're going to be placing 3 double crochets into that. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Like I said, you're going to put 3 double crochets right here in the same chain. Okay, and before we move on, what you're going to do is with the stitch marker that you have, or a scrap piece of yarn, you're going to mark the center of the 3 stitches right there, just so it's easier to find later on. So you're going to put a stitch marker right there. Okay, and for the rest of this row, what we're going to be doing is working as a mirror image into the back of the chain. So you're going to align with each double crochet that you just did on the opposite side to create the shape you need as a foundation for the hood. So also, as a recommendation, there's the tail end at the back right here. I would hold that against the yarn as you're working to kind of weave it in so you don't have to at the end. So what we're going to do is yarn over, and we're going to skip the one we just did the 3 double crochets into. So we're going to find the next chain, which is right there underneath that double crochet. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, so you have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and like I said, the best way to find out where your next chain you're going to go into is go right under where that next double crochet is, as you can see right here. So you can yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, so you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And like I said, I would hold this tail against the work as you're working through so you can work around it, and then kind of pull it securely, like snug as you're going down, just to reinforce that it's woven in there and you're not going to have a stray, I guess, tail ends hanging out. So yarn over, and like I said, one more time, you're going to go under that double crochet that you just did on the opposite side. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to do a double crochet underneath each one of these until you get to the very end, and I'll show you at the very end how to locate your chain 3, but I'll meet you back here in a second if you want to pause, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so we just did our last double crochet underneath the double crochet that we already had. Okay, so what you're going to do now is to identify right there is your chain 3 at the very end. It'll look kind of like a beveled shell looking. You're going to do 1, 2, 3, and at the bottom of that chain 3 right here, you're going to do a double crochet. And you want to make sure to do this so you have the right amount of number at the end of the row. So you'll have a total of 75 double crochets at the end of this. But you want to make sure you actually do a double crochet into that chain 3 space area right here in the bottom of it. So you'll have the right amount as you continue and increase. So you should have a piece of work that looks kind of like this, flat at the bottom, rounded at the top. At the end of this, you're going to make sure you have a total of 75 double crochets. But also, we are going to chain 2 and then turn our work, and I'll meet you back in a second for row 2. Okay, to start off on row 2, you're going to do a double crochet into that same stitch as your chain 2. So you're going to skip your chain 2 right here, so 1, 2, and then to that first double crochet, you're going to do a double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And for row 2, we are going to be doing a double crochet into the next 36 stitches. So like I said, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, so you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to do this into the next 36 stitches. So in total, at the end of this, you should have 37 double crochets, and then it should bring you up here to the center where you have the stitch marker. I'm going to pause it right here. I'll meet you back in just a second. Okay, and after you have double crocheted a total of 37 double crochets across the edge in total, it should bring you right up to where you placed your stitch marker. So So what we're going to do is remove our stitch marker right there. And then at this one, in this stitch that was marked with a stitch marker, you're going to place 3 double crochets into that. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And like I said, you're going to put 3 double crochets into this very top stitch, and before you move on, you're going to locate the center of those 3 stitches, and like the row before, you are going to place your stitch marker right there, and then you're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 37 stitches across, and I'll meet you back at the end of row 2. So like I said, double crochet into each stitch, and I'll meet you back here in just a second at the end of row 2. Okay, and we're placing the last double crochet into the last double crochet of round. Okay, and then we're going to chain 2 and turn. Okay, and for rows 3 through 6, it's going to be a repeat of row number 2. At the end of each, or when you get to the center of each where the stitch marker is, you're going to place 3 there. And then you're going to replace the stitch marker into the center stitch. Also, we're going to put a picture or, okay, and at the end of row 2, make sure to put the last double crochet into the last stitch. And then chain 2. And then for row 3 through 6, I'm about to put a slide up here in just a second with the information on it. You're going to be repeating row 2. Like I said, I'm about to insert a slide that you guys can pause on to have all the information of the numbers. Just remember, and if you need to relook at how row 2 works, please do so. Where you're going to be crocheting all the way into every stitch until you get to the stitch marker, and then increasing at the stitch marker. Like I said, we'll insert a clip here with the information for the row count of each row. Please pause, and we'll meet you back here at the end of row 6, beginning of row 7. Okay, and we're at the end of row 6, and you should have 85 stitches, but also your work should be looking like this. Okay, and like I said, you gotta make sure you have 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows from the center. Okay, and I did this to kind of help me keep track where I was at. Okay, and for row 7, you're going to, after chaining 2 and turning, you're going to double crochet into the same stitch, yarn over, insert your hook, do a double crochet, and we're going to be placing double crochets into the next 40 stitches, and I'll meet you there in just a moment. Okay, and after you've done the 40 double crochets, you should have a total of 41 across, including the first double crochet you did. And then for the next part, we are going to do a front post double crochet. And to do this, we are going to yarn over, insert our hook not into the actual stitch up here, but behind the stitch. So you're basically picking up the stitch around your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to be doing this over the next 3 stitches. So basically that cluster 3 you made in your last increase row, you're going to be front post double crocheting around that. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook behind the side of that stitch right there. So you're basically picking the stitch up on that. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And once again, the last front post double crochet we're going to do for this round, we're going to yarn over, insert your hook behind that stitch, yarn over, pull through, so you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're making a little bit right there. See the 3 front post double crochets? Okay, so for the rest of the round, you're going to double crochet into each stitch across for a total of 41 stitches. I'll meet you back at the beginning, or the end of row 7. Okay, so at the end of row 7, you're going to chain 2 and turn, and you should have a total of 85 double crochets all together. including the front post double crochets. So for row 8, we are going to double crochet in that first same stitch, and then we're going to double crochet along the edge for 40 more stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so another double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2, over through 2. And like I said, you're going to double crochet 40 more stitches after that initial first double crochet. And I'll meet you back here in just a moment. Okay, and after those 40 double crochets, you should be right back up here at where the cluster of 3 are. And so for this next part, you're going to do back post double crochet only. So what we're going to do is yarn over, insert our hook from behind the stitch to go, and then back over the stitch. So basically you want that whole stitch behind your hook. So it's going to look like this in the front, that in the back. Yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 loops on the hook, as you can see. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you right into the next point where it's the front post double crochet, you're going to go back post again. So you're going to insert your hook through the back, around and over that same stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. It's basically doing the same thing as a front post, but I guess the back post. The way I find it easier to do is instead of trying to figure out how to do this from the back, I kind of turn the work toward me. So I just go basically underneath that. So wrap that loop in front, yarn over, pull through, and continue to do a double crochet that way. Just so it's a lot easier versus having it face toward me like that. I kind of just face the yarn toward myself, working it however way it's going to be easiest to see. And you're going to notice from this side especially, you're going to be tempted to go into these 3 double crochet tops right here. But what you do is whenever you go to do the 41 after this, make sure that you have 3 right here not done because you've already done the stitches up here. So what you're going to do is, like I said, skip 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go into that 4th one over and continue to work your 41 double crochets down the other side. If you want to pause the video right here, and I will meet you back at the end. Okay, and at the end of row 8, you're going to chain 2 and turn. Now for rows 9 through 20, you're going to repeat row 7 and 8, alternating them. And then at the end of row 20, you're going to chain 1 and turn. I'm going to let you guys finish that if you pause here and work those rows up, and I'll meet you at the end of row 20. Okay, and at the end of row 20, you should have something starting to look like this. It has a little bit of texture on the top, but also you have a very defined hood shape like this. Okay, and so we're going on to row 21. At the end of row 20, you should have chained 1 and turned. So what we're going to do now is we're going to single crochet into the first stitch and each stitch across. So you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, so you have 2 loops on the hook, over, pull through 2, and you're going to single crochet into every double crochet across the row, even across into these stitches right here. I'll meet you back at the end of row 21. Okay, and at the end of row 21, you're going to chain 1 and turn. And so we're going to move right back on to row 22. You're going to repeat row 21, as in you're going to put a single crochet into every single crochet in the row. So you're going to yarn over, or insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're going to do a single crochet into every stitch along. And I will meet you right here in the end to move on to round 23. And after row 22, you should have 85 single crochets. We are going to move on into row 23. We are going to be placing a half double crochet in each stitch across. Okay, to do a half double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 stitches on the loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So once again, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And you're going to continue to do this for each stitch in the round. So you should have 85 half double crochets along this row. I'm going to pause here and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, and for row 24, we're going to make sure chain 1 and turn. Okay, now we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be crocheting half double crochet in the 3rd loop across. But for the first stitch, you're going to place a half double crochet into that very first stitch right here, so it has a very clean edge. Okay, and then the next stitch, what we're going to be doing is a half double crochet in the 3rd loop only. We're going to be doing this in each stitch across into the very last stitch, but I'll show you how to do that real quick. So instead of going into the top right here, go through these 2 stitches as we normally would, we're not going to be going into these at all. What we're going to be doing is going into this stitch right back here. It's easy to notice where it is. It's on the very back side, so you'll see the 3 up front like this, like 1, 2, 3. Then you turn it to the top and you have the V, but also you turn it to this side, you have 1 right here, and then this one right back here. What you're going to be doing is yarning over, inserting under that loop right there, yarn over, pull through, so you have 3, yarn over, pull through all 3, and like I said, to the next one, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook through that loop on the side right here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you'll notice eventually, go to the next one, do a couple, show you quick. So yarn over, insert your hook through that loop on the side, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3. What we're creating with that is right there, you'll notice that little piece of yarn for the top of that half double from before is getting pushed up, so you're getting a nice ridged look right there. Okay, and I'll show you one more time, and we're going to do this across, like I said, into the very last stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook through that loop on the side, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, and if you want to pause the video right here, and I'll meet you back with the very last stitch not worked. Okay, and here we are at the very last stitch, and we're going to place a normal half double crochet into that. Okay, just so it keeps it even on the end. It doesn't have any like notch out there, just keeps it nice and clean. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, and for row 25, it's very, very simple. All we're going to do is place a slip stitch in each stitch across from the side as normal. So yarn over, or not yarn over. We're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through the loop, and then take that first loop, pull through the back loop. So insert, pull the loop, yarn over, pull. So basically, you're just going to be yarn over, pull through that first loop, and then pull that same loop that's in the front right here through the back loop. And you're going to be doing that through every stitch across. And I'm going to pause here, and I'll meet you back at the very end. End of the round, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to cut a long tail. To sew this up with, I'd say I give it about a foot and a half, 2 feet of yarn. Okay, and we're going to cut a tail. Like I said, I'll give about a foot and a half, 2 feet of tail. Pull it through and pull it tightly. Okay, and we're going to set that aside for the moment, and I'm going to pause here, and we'll meet right back in just a second to do the scarf half of it. Okay, so we're going to make another slip knot, and then like I said, we're going to make an X in the back, bars in the front. You're going to put your hook under the first one, over the second one, pull through. Okay, and we're going to secure that tightly to the hook. Okay, and for the first row of the scarf portion, we're going to chain 29. Okay, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and that's how I do a chain. Okay, and I'm going to pause here and I'll meet you back in just a second after you have 29 chains. Okay, and so after we have 29 chains, make sure to double count to make sure you have 29. We're going to double crochet into the 4th loop from the hook. So not 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 chains on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Like I said, you're going to do a double crochet in each stitch across. And the total, including your chain 3, you should have 26 stitches. I'm going to pause this here and I'll meet you right back at the end. And for row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn at the end of row 1, but in row 2 we're going to do a half double crochet back loop only. So after that we're going to yarn over, insert our hook through that back loop right there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And like I said, for the back loop only, instead of going through both loops right here, the top of those, you're going to only be going through this back farthest one from you right there. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Once again, yarn over, put through that back loop in the very back, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're going to be doing this through every stitch on the way to the end. I'll meet you back here in just a moment. Okay, and we need to make sure to go into that chain 3 at the very back, or the very bottom. Okay, double crochet that there. Okay, so for row 3, we're going to chain 2 before we turn. Okay, and now we're going to be doing double crochet back loop only. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook through that back loop just like the row before. Yarn over, pull through, and instead of pulling through all 3, we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, so once again, we're going to go through that back loop only. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook through that back loop, yarn over, pull through, so we have 3 on the loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. And we're going to repeat this all the way to the very end of the row when you should have 26 double crochet back loop onlys. Okay, so at the end of row 3, you should have a piece that looks like this. So from row 4 to 102, you're going to repeat row 2 and 3, alternating between them. And you should have a long scarf at the end of it. Like I said, repeat row 2 and 3 from 4 to 102, and I'll meet you back in just a moment. Okay, and I'm back at 102 rows. This is a different color, obviously. I just have this one made and ready to actually stitch the hood onto it. So for purposes, I'm going to show you guys how to sew this one up versus the purple one. The purple one is going to be a little bit longer to make and have it together for this video. But I'm going to sew this one together. So what you're going to do is cut a tail, I would say about 1 foot long. Or if you wanted to, you also could just make sure the right side is facing together. You could crochet, slip stitch the ends up together. I'm going to sew this up, but if you're sewing it up, I would cut about 1 foot long tail at the end, and then make sure, like I said, your right sides are facing in. The way I determine right side is whatever side of the yarn has a better stitch definition, whereas I'd probably actually turn this one this way, and then sew it up however you'd like around the edge. I'll pause right here, sew this up, and then we'll get into attaching the hood to the scarf. Okay, and once you have your scarf sewn up, we're going to place some stitch markers. You're going to want to align the middle of your hood to the middle of the scarf where you just sewn it up. And I do this to help me keep it aligned, because as you're sewing, it kind of shifts a little bit. Or I've noticed it shifts a little bit whenever I do it. So you're going to do that and kind of tack them together, and kind of, as much as you can, line it up evenly around the hood. So center, and then what I do is I'll flatten it out and kind of line it up with the edge of, not row per row, but spatial, how the other one lays out. This, it's a little bit easier. Let me zoom this out a little bit. Line it up on the edge. Like I said, lay it flat as you can and even as you can, and I'm going to clip this side to this. And it's not necessarily going to line up like one for one. It's just helping you get it as even, as straight as you can get it. Okay. And fold that this way to get it a little bit more flat. Like I said, you're just going to lay it as even as you can get it. And clip it down. And if you don't have stitch markers, you could honestly probably just do this with a different colored yarn. It's just kind of like loosely tie it just so it holds it in one spot. Okay, and now everything's clipped down, and as you can see, it's laying flat and even. And you can honestly probably slip stitch it together. I choose to do it with the needle and thread, and you're just gonna sew along the edge right here together as even as you can. And I'm going to pause right here, sew it up, and we're going to come right back to the end. Okay, and after you're done sewing up, you should have a piece that looks like this. The scarf should lay flat in the front, so you can wrap it around and give you a textured, layered look, bundled and cozy. Like I said, this works great for any aesthetic. I've done them in dark colors and bright colors and multi-tones. Also, if you like this pattern, remember to like and subscribe for more of our content. Make sure to check out our Instagram, TikTok, and blog, or any of the other videos on this channel. If you make one of these, or if you make something else using one of our patterns, feel free to tag us on your social media. We would love to see your makes. And I hope you guys all have a magical day. Bye.